So I'm not going to be streaming for very long. Um, Pretty much just got a couple things to want to talk about. Um, uh, and mainly because I got schoolwork to do, I'm doing laundry, waiting on food. Um, I got a bunch of shit to do. As a matter of fact, I need to go water my plants. Un minuto, por favor. All right. So, a couple things I wanted to talk about. Um, First is uh, actually in our creators. Um, it's like I said, it's in the game itself. Um,
Maintenance says they'll get to it eventually.
Once the screen pops, there we go. So what I'm referring to is this right here. Oh, you can't see it. Son of a shit. Um, all right, there we go. This right here. I can't zoom it. Well, this right here is a Rocketeer. They're the rare items you get from looting a Rocketeer. And the thing is I didn't kill a Rocketeer. I didn't bring a single one down. I haven't brought a single one down. And so, just as this implies, during this run, I learned how the husks work. And so, and this is all the husks. If you're looting any of the bot husks and it now I can't tell you for sure about those big behemoth ones. But when it comes to the smaller ones, smaller husks, Rocketeers, the little small drones shot down that are just laying around that you can loot, you got to breach and then loot. Well, if they shock you or they act like they're going to shock you, you're probably going to get a rare item in that because that's exactly how these two worked. And you could say, well, you just got lucky and you looted two, got two. No, I looted five and got two. Three of which didn't shock me, didn't even act like they were going to shoot off that little electrical charge that happens on some of these. So if you're looting bots, whatever, like the shit that's around the map, the husks, and one shocks you, you're probably going to get a rare item. It's a high chance of rare item in that because that's exactly what happened. Both of these two that are here, both of these husks shocked me. Or one shocked me. I realized what was happening with the second one and then I dodged out of the way. And so it didn't shock me. But it tried. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about with Arc Raiders. Just a little tidbit. Anybody's trying to figure out, I can't find Rocketeer husks. I can't find Rocketeer modules, and just go to the dam, go to the old battlefield, old battlegrounds. There's tons of Rocketeer husks. If you need Rocketeer items, the rare items, just go to the old battlegrounds on Dam Battlefield, the Dam Battlegrounds, because the old battlegrounds area has tons of Rocketeer husks, tons of those big fucking husks, and you'll be able to probably get shocked by a couple and pick up a couple rare items from them. Uh, the rare Rocketeer item. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that. The second thing I wanted to say is more along the lines of reality and real things in the world. Um, I know some people don't view them as pets, um, but I do. They're adorable. Um, I had no idea the kind of personalities they could have until I went today, and that is rabbits, bunny rabbits. I knew that they were pets and they could be kept as pets. I knew somebody that had one that was pretty active, had a pretty rambunctious personality. But I went today to look at a rabbit to adopt. I went there with the intention to adopt a specific rabbit. Um, it was she was a mostly black uh, with a one stripe on the nose. They're called her kind of breed is called a lion mane Dutch. They're a lion mane Dutch mix. Any rabbit with a like a little discoloring stripe on them. I guess that's part of the Dutch breed. But the lion mane are the rabbits with the basically the little lion's mane that runs around the side of their head and up in their ears. Um, that's what she had. She was beautiful, beautiful black rabbit. Um, she was really docile, kind of skittish a little bit, but she was beautiful, beautiful rabbit. I went there to look at her, but as I was being showed around, there was one there that wasn't on the website. And it was like I fell in love with that little rabbit instantly. He's a lion's mane dwarf white rabbit, completely white. He's a dwarf and he has a lion's mane. And his personality is one of the most active and rambunctious and like the most adorable personality I've ever seen in a tiny creature and a prey creature at that. These creatures aren't the reason they are the way they are and act the way they act and their um, anatomy and physiology is the way it is because they are more or less prey. They're creatures that are considered prey, and so that's why their eyes are on the side of their heads. That's why you don't put your hand in the front of their face. That's why you don't touch them anywhere except for like right over top of their eyes, on top of their head, and you pet backward. You don't scratch them under the chin. You don't scratch them on the sides, on the belly. Now there are rabbits that will get comfortable enough to allow their owners to pet their belly, but that's actually the most sensitive part of a rabbit is the belly, the underbelly. And the reason you only really pet them in one spot in one consistent spot is because they view everything as potential predator. You pet them from behind. That's how a lot of predators catch things from behind. You don't touch their feet because that's how predators stop things is by grabbing their feet. And the reason you don't pet them under the neck is because they have sensory glands under here. So if you ever see a rabbit go up and then rub their chin on something, that they're sensing it. They're trying to see what it is. Like a raccoon will pick things up in their hands and do this. They'll look away and do this because they can sense it better with their hands, the skin on their hands, the hair on their hands, than they can with their eyes, their smell, and their touch or their taste. That's why raccoons do that because these are their sensory tools. With a rabbit, it's underneath the neck, underneath the chin, like right here on the sides. That's where their sensory glands are. So they'll rub their they'll do this because they're sensing it, seeing what it is. And that rabbit did that the entire time. Not to mention, I didn't know what was going on, but he kept like sprinting around circles, sprinting around me in circles. And he would leave behind, it didn't look like pee. And I found out later he had just like recently been neutered, so he was still attempting to mark territory, and that's what he was doing. He was claiming me as his territory. So, like I said, it is like one of the most adorable things I've ever encountered. Um, I I can't remember the last time I can. The last time I felt like that, doing something like that, was when I adopted my Shih Tzu more than a decade ago. That was the last time I felt like that interacting with a otherwise helpless creature. And yeah, I fell in love with the little guy. Like right there, I sat and I petted him. I went back over and I sat with the other one for a little bit. Um, but essentially, I made my way to back over to the white rabbit. His name's Sirius, so I'm obviously going to call him Sirius Black because he's white.